Do you hate it whenever you do your ponytail and then there's like a dinosaur ridge bump? Problems, y'all. Redo. Lesson 86. Like, we're doing lesson 86, we're reviewing 71, 72. Before we know it, we're going to be in the 90s. And that's just incredible to me because, you know, once we hit that 100th lesson, it's going to be like, good job, honey. You're doing good. Like, we're progressing. All right, so what are we talking about today? Only God's salvation will work. Right? Only God's salvation will work. All this other stuff is like a waste of your time. Holding grievances is an attack on God's plan for salvation, because this is how I talk. Yeah, like, that's actually what Tina Jesus was talking about today. Like, when we attack God's plan, or when we, what are we doing? When we judge and hold grievances, we're attacking God's plan. Like, or we're just like, here's like another way to look at it. Like, when you push against God's plan, but we'll call it the universe, okay? When we push against the universe's plan, we're attacking that, and we're gonna, what we put out, we get back. So it's like when you push against what is, like, the whole universe is like pushing back on you. That's why it doesn't feel good. That's why it never works out in your favor. Like, that's why, like, bad stuff keeps on coming back to you. But it's like, all right, so I'll let Jesus tell you more about that. But yeah, getting in this realization that it is senseless, as the lesson says. It is senseless for me to search wildly for salvation. So, okay, like, I'm going to try to, like, find my happiness and salvation in a new relationship, getting new clothes, getting a new vehicle, buying a beautiful house. Is that where I'm going to find it? No. Where I'm going to actually find it is inside of me. So anything else, looking for it outside of me, it's just a waste of my time. And I'm better off just accepting what's going on outside of me. Like, okay, fine. Like, I'm not going to hold a grievance or judge it or nothing. And continually going within, going deep within, like yesterday said, and looking for salvation where salvation is. All right, Jesus, take it. So today Jesus said through Tina, Louise Spalding, that you attack God when you argue with reality. And Jesus was like, yeah, that's reality with a little small r. Like, we're not talking about God's reality. We're talking about this little reality that we live in. When we argue with it, like, or try to judge it or hold a grievance, we're attacking God. And Jesus just kept on reiterating, it is what is. And there is extreme power of acceptance. When you just accept what is for being what is, woo, that puts the ball in your court. There's extreme power in that. So even if it seems bad, what you don't want, it is what is. So whether it's like a loss or, I don't know, he listed a whole bunch of stuff that you wouldn't want, you know, it is what it is. So you cannot change it. So just become more loving, align with love. And he's saying what does not feel loving and what is not loving is your perceptions, your judgment, your way that you are perceiving your reality, and the idols that you look outside of you for salvation. That's the stuff that's not loving. God is always loving. Your true self is always loving. So align with love, feel the extreme power of acceptance, and seek salvation in aligning with love. And thus you will find it. Because it is what is. So yeah, it is what it is. And there is a lot of power just being like, shrug your shoulders. Just make that conscious choice. Deliberately not going to get into this. Deliberately not going to judge, not going to hold grievance, not even really going to think about it too much. It is what it is. It is what is. And then you just accept reality as it is, because it is what it is, and you just stop yourself from chasing those false idols. And it is a false idol to think, well, if I change my external reality, I'll be happier inside. That's not the way it works. That never works. You cannot change like things outside of you to change how you feel inside of you. The ego thinks that's the way it works, but like what you do is go inside. That's where you change. You change up here. And then it's true. It doesn't even matter what's going on out here, when up in here, inside here, deep up everywhere, wherever your true self is. Whenever you got that in alignment with love, it's fine. Everything's fine. All is well. It just is what it is. And you're just happy to be here, shining God's love everywhere. All right, let's take a stroll down Pathways of Light. Pathwaysoflight.org. Welcome to the reading, A Course in Miracles Workbook Lesson 86, Insights. Review. Only God's plan for salvation will work. And holding grievances is an attack on God's plan for salvation. These lessons about grievances are, for me, lessons about patience. When the ego latches onto a grievance, it is like a dog with a bone. I watch the grievance come up again and again, and I know that's not who I am. And through patience and following guidance, eventually I walk through the cloud and back into the sunlight. If I perceive a friend appearing to become distant, this calls for salvation, not grievance attack. In truth, we are joined in love, and there is no distance between us. I could only perceive distance if I perceived separation. If I am looking for some behavior or some signal in the form to indicate friendship, I am forgetting the true friend that we share and are together. Bodies being together in the same room or talking on the phone or writing letters does not make joining. If I look to those forms for indication of connection, I have forgotten what truly joins us. I am looking for unity where unity cannot be found. This perception of distance I take to the Holy Spirit. As He shines His light on it, the form fades away, and I see the light we share. I feel the love that we are. It extends from me to my friend and from my friend to me, for love is always extending itself. My heart overflows with joy and gratitude. There is no separation. There is no lack. There is only the sheer joy of remembering the love we share in God. Love's song sings in my heart, and I remember we are one. Together, we are God's Son. We are one light. There is no distance between us. No longer do I seek for empty symbols in place of the fullness of love that we share and are. Grievances have disappeared, and only the joy of unity remains. And I thank God. If I think I have a problem, or if I think I have a grievance, the only way out of this grievance or problem is to return to love. I must be willing to open to my true self for the answer, not my projections of a world outside me. As I am willing to quiet my mind and open up to the truth of my reality and everyone's reality, I receive a change of mind that truly works. When I receive this change of mind, I recognize the love behind all perceived forms of separation. As I am willing to focus on the love, the changeless truth, I see that there is nothing to do to change something in the outside world. It has all been in my mind. As I am willing to open to the truth, I see what is really eternally true. What a body does or says becomes meaningless. What I receive from the one Christ mind becomes all that is meaningful. The problem or the grievance disappears. It was only in my mind, and I let it go because it doesn't mean anything. It was just a false idea I carried for a while. Only God's plan for salvation will work. It is only as I am willing to open to God's love that I receive the real answer to every problem, every grievance that appears as outside my mind. This process of going to God with every grievance really does work every time. My misperceptions of a world outside will never bring me peace, will never bring me happiness. My expectations of any behavior from anyone in the outside world mean nothing. It's just a silly idea. And the only thing to do in God's plan is to let go of that silly idea. Let it go. It's nothing. Remembering the truth about everything and everyone brings me happiness. That's the only thing that will bring me happiness. Only God's plan for salvation will work. All real power lies in God's universal love. Holding a grievance is a denial of the power of love, of the power of my one self. The power of love is always there in my mind, waiting for my return, waiting for my acceptance. Today, I choose to accept the power of love. Today's lesson has been a wonderful help to me. I started by just listing all of the many ways I attempt to save myself and forgiving each one before going on to the next. I thought it might help to just get them out there and look at them. And yes, it did help. Then all through the day, as I went back to some of those false saviors, I would use one of the forms of help suggested in the lesson and would bring myself back to sanity. I feel so good. pathwaysoflight.org. Woo! Do less, God bless. All right, so Pathways of Light, always good stuff. Thank you so much. I'm excited that we're on lesson 86 because, a few more days we'll be eating cookies again and getting back to that. But on these busy weekends, I'm appreciative of these little shorter lessons. The Pathways of Light was shorter. Not today, though. Dang, it was not shorter today, but the last couple days it's been shorter. And even Tina Jesus was pretty short today because she had a little scratchy throat. So that's good because, we'll just get through it all. And then if you want to be crazy with me next year and do it again, we'll do it again. One way or the other. Somebody else can do the videos. Brad. Is there anything else that needs to be said? I don't know. Just really let's think about what Jesus said earlier about there being extreme power in that just accepting what's going on and understanding that there is a plan. It's God's plan, and it's the only one that will work. And his plans never fail because he's God. And why not line up with God's love, or if you want to call it the universe's love or source's love, or unconditional love. That's what God is, you know, and that's why it's the only thing that's real. So I don't give a shit what words you want to use, but do what you got to do to understand that you have a choice, and it's either between misperception and salvation. So it's like, which one are you going to line up with? Like at the beginning, are you lining up with the ego or the Holy Spirit? Are you lining up with the will that your ego conjured, or are you lining up with the will, God's will? Okay, so anyways, just don't be holding grievances, okay? Let them go. And I'm going to also take this advice because, like, you know, I've had a lot of drama in my life the past couple months, and I can keep on reiterating that and holding that grievance, or I can let it go. So I think that's what we should do. All right. Have a great day. Do you hear my stomach? I need to eat.